Hi, I'm Neil McDougall. I wanted to share a few words with you today about your choice around choosing strategy management or balanced scorecard software. If you're not interested in balanced scorecard software, this probably isn't for you. Um, but if you are, I hope I can point out to you some things to think about through the process. Thanks for joining me. So I just saw recent fresh data. I'll mention the reference at the end of the presentation, but that basically somewhere around 85% of balanced scorecard users aren't using any specialized software. So they're using manual, PowerPoint, Word, Excel, that kind of thing. And although there are a number, well, I know there's over 100, but there's probably been over 25 vendors in this space for the last 10 years. So there's a big opportunity to get the user base to see the benefits and help them kind of sort out this confusing world around strategy management software. So there are people that are using software. There's, like I said, they're either manual using Microsoft Office. There are these specialized vendors. I've named a few of them here that have purpose-built applications for managing strategy management. And then there are the big players who have big footprints and a lot of support, and presumably highly compatible with your existing implementation if you're using SAP, Oracle, or Cognos. Each of them has a strategy management or a balanced scorecard module available. So things to think about. You want to think about, are you talking about a small number of users, 2025, that you can just do desktop implementations of an application that's available and just use it to help you share information and approach the development of your scorecard material in a standard way? Or is it something that you'd like to be networked? So you've got standard knowledge sharing, configuration management, release control, that kind of thing. In terms of network, are you talking about just a shared drive amongst a small number of users, or are you talking about actually network-based software that's got all the nice features of being distributed across your network? The third consideration is maybe a hosted solution is for you. If you want less impact on your local IT, or maybe you don't have a lot of local IT support, you're in a remote region, and so you're quite comfortable with the software being hosted off-site and let all the IT considerations, not all, but most of the IT considerations be considered off-site, you could go for this hosted model, which is software as a service. Typically a subscription-based, but the data and the application is hosted elsewhere, and you just log in through your web interface or your browser. What you want to just think about, I imagine since you've come to this presentation that you're starting to say, okay, scorecard is good, it's popular, I think we're doing the right thing, must be an easier way, probably. Or maybe we're spending way too much energy on the actual managing the workflow, and I'd like to focus my team more towards decision making and helping the executives focus more towards decision making and spend less time and energy on data collection and analysis. So presumably you've come to this presentation because you are starting to think along those lines, and so I just want you to think about, well, what is it exactly you want to use this for? Do you want to use software to help you standardize the way that you develop scorecards in different parts of the organization? Do you want to use it to take what you've done in some part of the organization and cascade it efficiently to maybe other regions or other business lines? Do you want to use your software to make it more effective to manage? So if you've got isolated pieces of data on different people's desktops because you're using Microsoft Office, maybe there's a way to centralize that data, make it accessible to everybody, and therefore get focused on decision making rather than data collection. Or maybe you've got everything working quite well, it's just still highly manual, or you just know that it's just not as efficient as it could be. And so you're really just in a process improvement mode. just identify where you are in the process, because it's going to help you think about, well, what's the software going to be, or what are the requirements at least that are going to help me make this decision. Another way of saying the same thing, kind of a way of thinking about the different features most scorecard software have in different levels of emphasis and different levels of depth. But is the software strong on helping you develop consistently across an organization? Is it strong maybe more on monitoring and dashboarding for your executives or for your user group? Is it strong on guiding and helping the workflow towards strategy review and decision making? Is it strong on scalability? Is it something that's going to make your job of getting this great process you've got in some parts of the organization consistently out to other parts of the organization? And finally, is it rich on either IT support, context-sensitive support, or change management support, learning and help, online help, that kind of thing? Pricing, what's the budget you have in mind? What's the right price tag? You probably, depending on where you're sitting, you may not have any idea. I'm sure you could probably do a web search to get some benchmarking on this information, but there are different types of pricing, some by user base, some by scorecard, some by the subscription model I mentioned earlier, annually, annual subscription, and support fees. What are the steps that your organization needs to take to make this decision? You've probably got a standard procurement process. You need to think about setting your expectations with your team of, okay, once we decide on what the requirements are that we need, how do we follow the process here at the organization to get the decision making happening effectively? And then ultimately, so then you've made that decision, you've decided to acquire software or partner with a vendor. A great question to ask the vendors is, what's the time frame to impact? I mean, how long typically can we expect to be configuring to set this up before we actually get to see benefits with our organization and we can actually start using it? Change management. Think about what's the impact to my IT organization and what's my impact to my stakeholders, so either the leaders and decision makers or the actual user group that are helping with the analysis and the data collection. If you have a process that's working great, you know it's effective and you're just trying to automate it, you probably want to think about finding software that's going to allow you to keep that consistent. You don't want to send too many ripples and waves through your organization. Ideally, you want to get if it's working great and people are happy with it, you want software to fit your current process. So minimal impact, ideally similar look and feel, and get the benefits that I've already mentioned. If you've got data you need to mine from other parts of the organization, you want to think about, can the tool that we get actually source that data automatically? One caveat I need to make, so that's a consideration. A lot of organizations, a lot of people think that that's a really important one, and sometimes it is, but you want to think about, is the data in those repositories, is it ready for executive decision making, or does it need to be managed to be more meaningful? So does it need to be manually managed before it's presented anyway? So you may not want to put hooks in. What I'm saying is, you may not want to put hooks in to automatically just take the data and present it. It may be meaningless in the form it's in right now. You may want to think about, is there some steps we need to put in interim to make that data more rich and meaningful, so executives don't need to spend time trying to piece it together, and they can get right to the conversation around what the decisions they need to make around the information. Importing and exporting. So once you've got it collected and aggregated and in preparation for your strategy decision-making meeting, or following your strategy meeting, do you have a way to export that to PDF, PowerPoint, or Excel to send to a broader group, broader than what's going to be on your tool? Finally, Be sure to get IT in on the conversation early and often. You want to make sure you don't try and go down a path that's going to negatively impact them, and that they're on board and comfortable with the application you're considering. Change management. Is it something that's easy to manage in terms of the user group? Coaching modules, help, but also access rights and that kind of thing. So what I recommend is you get a small group together that are thinking like you and starting to think that we need strategy management software, we just don't know what it is, and start to just brainstorm on what it is we want to get out of this, and start to make a list. That'll be the early formation of a requirements document for you. Once you get that SWAT team or committee or forum together to get an agreement, then you can start to engage the procurement process and let that take its course. Hopefully be involved through the piece. You want to make sure that every step is transparent and collaborative, so that the decision, once it gets made, sticks and you've got broad buy-in before you get started. Here are the resources I promised you. There's actually a fairly active discussion on the topic on the Balanced Scorecard Practitioners Network group on LinkedIn. 2GC has recent survey data on usage of Balanced Scorecard, as well as a vast database I've listed here of software vendors, I think over 100, so it's a good place to think about the whole landscape. And Palladium Group has a software certification program where their requirements are published on their website, so you can think about, well, if software is being certified as Balanced Scorecard approved, or Palladium approved, or Palladium certified, then this document could help you consider what you should be looking for in software. I hope the information is useful. I know it's really just guidelines. I wasn't trying to steer any decisions in any which way. I just think that when you engage those vendors in the early phases, it's very easy to fall into looking at applications and looking at features and not have that early discussion with your team about what it is we're really after, and so you can kind of vet really the part of that space that you really should be focused on up front, so that you don't get trapped in looking at applications that don't fit for you, or really get down too deep into feature trade-offs before you've really thought about what's best for your organization up front. My name is Neil McDougall. I hope this was useful. Take care. All the best.